Good morning, everybody. Welcome. The next game in the 1987 American League replay. Um, as I mentioned before, I would show the standings after each block of games for that particular day. Since I'm not playing every single game anymore, I'm only playing one game for that particular calendar date, playing the other ones offline so I can get through this project quicker, along with the Demolition League. So as we look at the standings, and I don't know how well it's going to show up because this is a really light print off the Strat-O-Matic computer. Maybe I bring it up a little higher. I don't know. Milwaukee leads the American League East at 22-10. Toronto right on their heels, a half game back at 22-11. And of course, Oakland is leading the American League West by 2 games over the Chicago White Sox at 20-14. They were 16-18 real world at this point, so they're 4 games above what they were naturally. And Milwaukee is actually 2 games better than what they were real world. So, and as you can see here, we have played 236 games on the season. That's our season total, 236 games. So that means today is game 237. So we get ready for game 237 of this replay overall. Hello, Midlife. It is Toronto at Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum. It'll be Jimmy Key against Moose Haas. Jimmy Key is the triple header. I don't know about all that, Midlife. We shall see. There will be a demolition game tonight. I just don't know about in between. That's the only part I don't know about. Jimmy Key is 7-0 with a 1.27 earned run average. He is far and away the top pitcher in the league, and he's going for his 8th win today. Moose Haas not doing so well for Oakland. He's 0-2 with an 11.57 earned run average. So he's really struggling. Like I said, this game was played May 16th, 1987. It is game 237 on the replay. Ballpark effects for Oakland, not very hitter friendly. Singles are 1-3. Home runs are 1-5. There you see the starting lineups for both teams. Again, for those that missed it last night, hello, Mr. Gudeman and Mr. Canadian. For those that missed it last night when I did the demolition game last night, yesterday morning or afternoon or whatever time it was, I discovered a new toy that I've been tinkering with for the last, a lot of the day yesterday, and that is a PDF editor. I found a free, and if it's, you know me, if it's for free, it's for me, and I'll take 3. So free PDF editor that I found. And so I took the original score sheet that Spokane Steve sent me that was blank and was able to edit and put all these things in here. So now you don't have to read my chicken scratch. You got typed line procedures. See, they're bigger print, they're bolder, they're easier for you to see, and you don't have to deal with my chicken scratch. I'm going to do that on another thing, Jeff. I was looking on my computer here, and it doesn't give me an option on my screen that I've already started. I think I have to do that from the get-go. I don't see any way to do that. I was going to do that. Actually, I was thinking if I was going to do something like that, I was thinking about doing something, a little bit later at night, where you get the illusion of you're on the East Coast, but you're listening to a radio broadcast on the West Coast, where it's like late at night, you can't sleep or whatever. And that's kind of the theme I was going to go for on something like that. So it's definitely in my thought process. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not, or how I'm going to do it, but I will look into it as a possible. Tonight's game probably is going to be probably be around 9 o'clock. I'm thinking somewhere in that neighborhood, 9:15, something like that. But I don't want to cross over with other people that are playing. Some people start at 8 o'clock, and I don't want to get to the middle of their game. And since I'm retired now, I don't have to get up early in the morning. I can afford. I still get up at a reasonable time, but it's not like I could get up, early and go to work. So if I'm up a little later than usual, that's not that bad of a thing. I don't usually go to bed till about 11:30 anyway. By the time I finish my game at night and then go downstairs, check out some news, watch a couple of YouTube shorts or whatever they got on there, and there you go, Midlife. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So I was thinking about doing something from 1976 since I bought that set and I've only played one game with it. So I was thinking about playing the California Angels, maybe picking a Nolan Ryan or a Frank Tanana start and playing one of their games against an East Coast team, so that you can get the feeling that you're, maybe you're trying to follow the Red Sox or the Yankees or whoever, Baltimore, whoever's from the East in the American League, and they've traveled out west to California and kind of give that kind of feeling. That's, I guess, the thing we'd be going for here. Okay. Now, don't tell me where are my things here. I got everything out here ready to go except for the most important part. I forgot to pull out the teams and get them out here. Good thing I got the lineups already set up, but yeah, I've got everything else all the way I wanted it. And then maybe it's part of my getting old or something. I forgot to bring them out. So, but anyway, here's the man, Jimmy Key. He was 17-8 with a 2.76 earned run average real world, but he is currently 7-0 with a 1.27 earned run average. So he is solidly getting the job done. And rather than go over with you who's in the bullpen and the bench, you got it sitting right here for the benches for both teams. And if you see an asterisk by somebody's name, that means they batted left-handed or pitched left-handed. And for Tony Phillips, you see a pound sign. That means he's a switch hitter. And that's what Strat-O-Matic uses on their computer, so that's what I'll use here. So Phillips is a switch hitter. Mike Davis, Hot Dog Jackson, and Poloni are lefties, and Steinbach's a righty. That's how that's deciphered. Same with the pitchers. Musselman's a lefty for Toronto, but the other three are right-handed, and you kind of get the gist from there. All right, so Oakland 20-13 in first place in the American League West. Toronto 20-11, a half game out from Milwaukee in the American League East. So obviously this looked like the best matchup to do for the May 16th game. So that's why I chose it. Now I need to get Oakland out here. Let's get Oakland out here. And Moose Haas, not a very good year in 1987. He was 2-2 with a 5.75 ERA, but he's got to pick it up to even get to that point because he's got 11.57 earned run average at the moment. So he's got his work cut out for him. No question about it. All right. And for all you hot dog fans, there he is, Hot Dog Jackson. Final season in the major leagues, 1987. He hit 220, all of 220 with 15 home runs for Hot Dog Jackson. But he did strike out 97 times. How about that? Gotta like Hot Dog. He was one of my favorite players growing up as a kid. I will say that. All right. Okay, so Jeremiah is picking Carney Lansford to click. We shall see how that turns out. I've got the Strat computer up on my screen as well. So I will score the game as we play it. And, of course, you can't have Strat-O-Matic morning Strat-O-Matic without the coffee to go with it. So got my coffee. The last cup of the day. And that'll get me all straight. All right. So now I'm watching the chat on my phone. And my laptop screen is filled up with Strat computer so I can score it. Give the full numbers on Eric Plunk. He's 0-2 with 11.57 ERA, 9 innings pitched, 14 hits, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Leading off for the Blue Jays is Tony Fernandez. He's hitting 372 on the replay. No homers, 8 driven in. He hit 322 in the real world. And we're underway from Oakland, and we do have Oakland-colored dice, as best I can get. 311 for Fernandez against the right-hander is a ballpark single right off the bat. It's only a 1-3, though, and the double die is a 10. So that will be a line out to second base on the failed ballpark. Base hit check. And so let me put that in the computer and get that straightened out so that we are in sync here and ready to go. The line out to the second baseman, Mike Let Go Gallego. He makes the play for one away. And that will bring up Rance Mullenix, third baseman, Rance Mullenix. Mullenix on the replay hitting 368, a homer and 13 driven in. He hit 310 real world. So 6-5, Haas to the lefty, 6-5's a pop out to first base. And Mark McGwire makes the catch, 2 down. Of course, this is McGwire's rookie season, pre-steroid and all that stuff. Here's Lloyd Mosby. Mosby, the center fielder, hitting 311, 10 homers, 38 driven in. He hit 282 real world. 1-6 against the right-hander, and Moose Haas strikes him out. So how about that? Moose Haas, a 1-2-3 first inning for Haas. He's off to a good start. Blue Jays, nothing. Oakland coming to bat. And Oakland will have to deal with Jimmy Key, the left-hander, top pitcher in the league by far. And Key on the replay. Let's get his full numbers so we can just appreciate just how good he's been. 7-0, 1.27 ERA, 64 innings pitched, only 42 hits, 19 walks and 46 strikeouts. So he is definitely, he leads, he got the triple, he doesn't lead in strikeouts, but he got the triple crown in wins and ERA. He's got 2/3 of that because I think other guys have more strikeouts than he does. But right now he's bucking for MVP of the league. All right, so Alfredo Griffin will lead it off for the Oakland A's. He's hitting 267, no homers, 6 driven in. And in real world, he hit 263. So he's right on line with his season average. He's had 105 at-bats so far. That's a 5-7. He's a switcher batting right-handed. That's a ground ball, second base X. That's Sharperson. 4E23. That 4 is a little troublesome. Devil Die doesn't like 4s. That's a 10. He might get away with it. 4 and a 10 is a G3. He does get away with it. That's a total of 9, and he's an E23 as a second baseman. E23, there's a 11 and a 17, but no 9. So Sharperson, hello, Colin. So Sharperson will make the play. Griffin is out of there. And there is one away. Here comes Carney Lansford. That was a pick to click by Jeremiah. See if he can click or not. On the replay, he's hitting 282, 4 homers, 23 driven in. And in real world, he hit 289, so he's kind of in line there too. He's had 124 at-bats, 6 doubles, a triple, and 4 homers, 23 driven in. Key, 6'8", and that is a strikeout for Jimmy Key. 2 down, and that's going to bring up the infamous Jose Canseco. Hello, Cash Guy. Good to see you. Canseco on the replay is hitting 280, 8 homers, 21 driven in. He hit 257 real world. That's a 2-7, and that's a 1-8 triple. Anything else will be a single. That's a 20, so Jose Canseco will settle with a single. Now, Jose Canseco in 1988, the following season, was a 40-40 guy, 40 stolen bases. In 1987, he only had 15 stolen bases, and in our replay, he has yet to steal a base, and that's because he has a hard time getting the lead. He has to roll a 6 to get the lead. That's the only way he can do it, is to get that lead with a 6. Now, Jimmy Key is a -5. I should have been a minus sign here. He's a -5 hold. So even if he gets the lead, you're talking a 1-12. But Jose being Jose, I think he's going to try for the lead anyway. Since there's 2 outs, try to get him in scoring position. He needs a 6. Gets a 5, does not get the lead. So he will hold. And here is Mark McGwire. McGwire on the replay. McGwire on the replay is hitting, let's see here, let's get Canseco on base with his single here on the computer. Now we get to McGwire. McGwire is hitting 260, 5 homers, 15 driven in. He hit 289 real world. Canseco being held at first, 2 down. Key, 3-8, and that is another strikeout as he gets McGwire. Strikeout number 2 for Jimmy Key, and that's going to end the inning. Nothing doing for Oakland. We've played 1 at the Coliseum, and it's no score. Blue Jays and the A's, or Athletics, however you want to call them. Of course, now they don't have a city. They're just called the Athletics. So I'm assuming that when Strat-O-Matic makes the card set for next year, they'll just call them Sacramento, because they're technically not in Las Vegas, and they can't use nicknames by legal reasons or for legal reasons. They have to use a city name. So I'm assuming they're going to call them they're just going to put Sacramento on the city because that's where they're playing. All right. George Bell will lead things off for the Jays. He's hitting 246 on the replay, 10 homers, 28 driven in. He's underperforming. He hit 308 real world. 6-9 against Haas. That's trouble. 1-8's a triple. 9-20 is a double. That'll be a leadoff double for George Bell. George Taco Bell with a double. Not quite a burrito supreme, but pretty good with that double. And that'll bring up Jesse Barfield. He's one of the league leaders in home runs with 12. He's got 12 homers, 36 driven in, 307 average on the replay. He only hit 263 real world. Nothing on the Havoc. And that's a 4-5. That's a split chance. 1-4 is a single, 5-20 is a line out. That's a 4. It'll be a base hit. Devil Die comes through with a low number. And Barfield singles Bell to third base. First and third, nobody out. And Moose Haas in trouble. That's supposed to be green, yes. I don't know how well it's showing up, but it's supposed to be a light-colored green. And, of course, Toronto in their blue. Let's see here. Should have picked a darker shade of green. It looks almost, that might even come across as being close to yellow on the screen. I don't know how it looks on the screen, but it's a light colored green. I probably should have chose a darker color one. That's all right. This is just an experiment anyway. All right, so Barfield, not a threat to run. He will hold. And that'll bring up first baseman Willie Upshaw. Infield for the A's, you know what? They're playing Jimmy Key. But I still think you got to play for the double play. You can't go, but you got to try to limit them to one run if possible. So Upshaw, one of the few Blue Jays struggling. He's hitting 224 on the replay. No homers, 9 driven in, but he only hit 244 real world. So I guess it's not that much of a struggle. Haas trying to get out of the mess. They'll trade a run to get the double play if they can do it. It's a 6-7, but he's not going to get it. That's a single 2 stars. And now Haas is in trouble. Jays take the lead 1-0. RBI single by Upshaw. That is his 10th RBI of the season. He finally got in double digits. Took him long enough, but he did it. And again, now with Haas, he is a -1 hold combined with the catcher Tettleton. Upshaw could get the lead on a 3 through 7, but he gets picked off on a 9 or a 10. If he gets the lead, it's a 15, but then it dropped down to a 12. And I don't think they want to run with the guy, got a guy on third. They're going to keep the bases juiced. They don't want to mess anything up. So designated hitter, the crime dog, Fred McGriff, is going to step to the plate. McGriff hitting 257 on the replay, 6 homers, 13 driven in. He hit 247 in the real world. So here's McGriff, same situation. They're going to play back for the double play. They need outs. 6-5, and that's a pop out to first. That will certainly help. That gets him an out with no runner advancement. Induced Mr. McGriff he was over anxious to pop it up. 1 away, and here comes the catcher, Ernie Witt on the replay, hitting 293, 4 homers, 15 driven in. He hit 259 real world. I'm sorry, 269 real world. Double play gets him out of the inning, 6-9, but he found another single, and that's going to be a 2-0 Blue Jay lead. Stopping at second is Upshaw, but scoring is Barfield. It is now 2-0 Blue Jays here in the top of the second, and every run they get just means Jimmy Key is going to be that much tougher. So here comes Sharperson, the second baseman, number 9 hitter. He is hitting 203 on the replay. No homers, 6 driven in. Real world, he hit 208, so he's pretty much right on line. That's a 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. That's a chance for a balk. Moose Haas's balk rating is a 5. So 1-5, and he will balk the runners over. And he does not. So no balk. Runners will stay put. Pitch to Sharperson, 6-10. That's a ballpark blast. It's only 1-5. That's a 9. He he had weak power anyway, but it's going to be a fly ball to left field. It would have been a single 2 stars had it been successful. But it's a fly to left, hauled in out there by Canseco. 2 down. Flip the order over to Tony Fernandez in a clutch situation. Fernandez in the clutch against righties. According to his card, he is completely neutral. So no advantage one way or the other. It's a 4-9 left, switch hitter batting left. That's a double to center field, clean as a butt right there. No D20 needed. That's clean. A clean double off the bat of Fernandez. That will score Upshaw. The trail runner Witt only runs at a 10, but he was not being held, makes him an 11. 2 outs makes him a 13. The double is assumed to go to, well, it shows center, so you don't have to assume it. -1 arm. Let's see, 12, 11, 13 to be a 1 to 12. They're going to send Ernie Witt 1 to 12. Why not with 2 outs? 1 to 12, they're going to send him. If he's safe, Fernandez will take third on the overthrow. 1 to 12, he's in there. And he is. So 2-run double off the bat of Tony Fernandez, and he will take third on the throw. And the Jays now lead it 4-0. And it's not looking good for the A's against Jimmy Key, that is for sure. All right, 2 down. Runner at third for Rance Mullenix. 1-3 for Mullenix. That's a ballpark single check, 1 to 3, but the double dies a 13 this time, so he will line it to second to end the inning. But a 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning for Toronto as they put 4 on the board, and we go to the bottom of the second. It's 4-0. And giving Jimmy Key as a 4-0 lead is not your idea, or not anybody's idea, of a walk in the park to try to get around that. Here comes the Penguin, Ron Cey. Talk about a veteran. It's definitely his last season in the big leagues. In the replay, he's hitting 111. 111. He is no homers or runs driven in. He had 221 real world. 6-2 against Key. Ground ball shortstop X. Fernandez is a 1. You know he's going to get to it. We're just looking at the E17. And we'll check E17. He has to avoid 15, 16, and 17. That's an 18. He got lucky. How about that? He's an E17. The 18s are usually errors most of the time. Usually are 2 base errors. But on an E17, it's only 15, 16, and 17. So Fernandez, when the things are going your way, they're going your way. What can you say? Fernandez makes a nice play on that rock-hard Oakland A's infield and got a bad hop, but stuck with it. And here's one thing I forgot to mention by doing the as-played lineups. There is a player that is not carded named Alejandro Sanchez. He played exactly 1 game for Oakland, and this was it, with 3 at-bats. So I've got him up on the computer, so I'm just going to, if it goes to his card, I'm just going to read what's on the computer and tell you what happens. But otherwise, if it's off Jimmy Key, of course, it doesn't matter. He is a right-handed hitter. 4-7, so we're under Jimmy Key. He's a right-handed hitter. It's a ground ball shortstop X again, going right back to Fernandez. E17, he's got to avoid 15, 16, and 17, which he does. So Tony Fernandez makes 2 plays. I forgot. I didn't think it was worthwhile to print out a card from him when it's just for 1 game. So I figured I could just work around it somehow. Here is Mickey Tettleton. Tettleton on the replay is hitting a .182. 5 homers, 9 driven in. In real world, he had a .194, so he's not too far off from his season numbers. 5-7. He's a switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a ground ball second base X, and we're looking at Sharperson, a 4.E23. 8, 4, and an 8 might be problems. 4 and an 8 might be a problem here. Nope, G3, he'll get to it because nobody's on base. He's not holding anybody on, so 4 and 8's okay. 13, and he's an E23. There's an 11 and a 17, no 13, so good play for Sharperson. And a 1-2-3 inning go the A's. Jimmy Key large and in charge. 4-0 lead. Looks like a 8-0 lead with Key pitching. Haas might not be around too much longer. His fatigue is a 5, but he may not make it that far. if Toronto keeps thumping him. So leading off will be Lloyd Moseby. Struck out his first chance, the only strikeout for Haas. 6'8", left-handed. This time it'll be a single. If Haas gets in that column 6 against lefties, he's in deep trouble. That's going to be a leadoff single for Moseby. A 2 through 5 will get Moseby the lead. Cannot get the lead. He will hold. Here's George Bell. 5-6 right-handed. Ground ball, second base X. Second baseman is Gallego, but he is responsible for holding Moseby. So he turns into a 4 E32. So that's going to make matters worse. And a 2 on the double die just caps it off right there. Terrible. 4 and a 2. It's going to be a single 2 stars. That'll send Moseby to third. He is an E32 as a second baseman. He's got to avoid 11, 15, 17, and 18. That is a 14, so he does avoid that, but he can't get to the ball, and Bell singles. And that'll put runners at the corners. And now Oakland, they have they don't have a whole lot of guys in their bullpen. They got 5 guys in the bullpen, so I guess they do have decent guys in the bullpen. Man, I don't know who. Now, Dennis Lamp, I can see right here, I didn't pull his card from the reserve roster. Forgot to do that too. Sometimes you forget to do things. In fact, a lot of times I forget to do things, but let's see if I can go to the reserve roster. I got it right over here. And get Dennis Lamp's card. He must have been injured in the beginning part of the season or something, because I don't believe he has played in this replay yet. Go to the Oakland bullpen and look at Dennis Lamp and see if he's had any. Oh, he's pitched 1 game, so he just recently came up. So we'll go get Dennis Lamp's card. Let's see if he was carded by Strat or whether I have him on the extras. Oh, he had a regulation card, Dennis Lamp. So he pitched 76 innings, was 1-3 with a 5.08 earned run average. So he's in the bullpen loosening for the Oakland A's. And they may need him. They may very well need him. As they have their work cut out for them. And in a rare, and I mean rare, occurrence here lately, I do happen to have a visitor sitting right next to me. Very rare she comes up here, but she did it today. So I put a blanket down for her, and she seems to be happy. So don't know if she'll stay up here the whole game. Right now she's quiet. Hopefully she won't make any big noises to interrupt the game. We hope not. All right, so Jesse Barfield against Haas. First and third, nobody out. 4-0 ball game. A's is going to play for the double play. I mean, there's no sense bringing the infield in because they're going to give up another 3 or 4 runs if that happens, and you're already down 4-0. So, yeah, Chuck, I figured you would like that. Nothing on the Havoc. Here's Haas to Barfield, 5-7. 5-7 is a 1-11 single. Anything else he lines out, that's a 14. So they got a break. He lines it to short. We're out number 1. And that will at least temporarily ease the pain. But Haas still in deep trouble. According to Strat Computer, his ERA is now 12.34 based on what he's allowed so far. And it could get worse. Here's Willie Upshaw. Double play would get him out of the inning if he could get it. Moose Haas has to avoid that column 6 on the left side, though. That's just a horrible column. If he can stay in column 2, he'd probably be all right. Or column 5, I mean. 3-8 for Upshaw against a right-hander. It's a ground ball shortstop A, just what the doctor ordered. 6-4-3 double play. That'll keep Haas in the game a little bit longer. They get out of it. 6-4-3 twin killing. And let's see what happened here. I got something off on my computer, so let me see what's going on here. I need to do this real quick. Bell singled and went to third, and then we had to line out to short by Barfield, and then Upshaw grounded into the 6-4-3 double play. All right, now we're straight. Now we can move on to the bottom of the third. And Jimmy Key still enjoying a 4-0 lead. Center fielder Stan Javier will lead off for the A's, followed by Gallego and Griffin. Hello, Mr. ID Jester. Good to see you. ID, I was going to ask you, and maybe I did and I forgot because I'm getting old and I forget these things. But I think you did make a comment in the actual video itself. But any things on that good, bad, and ugly Strat video I did that I maybe missed or should have expounded on more? I don't know. I don't want to make it too. It was long enough of a video already. Obviously, I'm positive on Strat, but I wanted to make sure that I included things that I really thought were not good without sugarcoating them. All right, here's Stan Javier. He's hitting 208 on the replay, 1 homer, 4 driven in. He only hit a .185 real world. Switch hitter batting right-handed, 1-4. That's a ground ball to third base. And Mr. Mullenix takes care of that, no problem. And Jimmy Key's ERA now has dropped to 1.23 according to the Strat computer. He's really killing it. Here's Mike Gallego. He's playing second base in this game. Hitting a .179. 1 homer, 3 driven in. He hit 250 real world, but he's only had 28 at-bats. 5-6 right-handed, struck him out. Jimmy Key, his third strikeout of the ball game. And that'll send up top of the order Alfredo Griffin. Yeah, you might need some popcorn. I don't know. I think it starts out where you think I'm in a Strat love fest, and then toward the end, you think I want a Strat rant, and then I try to wrap it up and kind of level it out. So just my particular observations on Strat-O-Matic as a whole, both the cards and dice and the computer. I hit them both. So 4-10, switch hitter batting right-handed. Fly ball to center field. That's hauled in by Mosby, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Jimmy Key. That ERA just gets lower and lower. We go to the 5th inning, or 4th inning rather, and it's 4-0 Toronto. Lamp has set down, but he's available. He's got the freshest arm if they need relief. Well, thank you, Canadian. I tried to be. I tried to put out what I thought were facts, not necessarily all opinion. But I'm hoping that what I put out was, backed up by facts, not just my opinion. I'm sure my opinion snuck in there somewhere or another, but anyway, here's Fred McGriff. Oh, we got a leaner, so I'm going to re-roll that. That white die was catty corner, and I don't like that. So try again. 4-5, and that's a ground ball second base C. So ground ball to the second baseman Gallego. He makes the play, 1 away. 1 down. Oh, I did talk about the rare plays. I definitely talked about the rare plays. I definitely when I was on the it's on the part where I was talking about the flimsy game components, the super advanced chart, how crappy it is, how crappy the cheap paper is, and how I have all these tears and crap in it. That's when I was talking about that. That's when I went straight over to the rare plays from there. So I did talk about that during that particular section. So I couldn't get by without doing rare plays. I got to do something with rare plays. If I don't use rare plays from another game, I'll have to create my own somehow. I don't know, but I can't play a whole season replay using Strat-O-Matic's rare plays. That's or if I get a 5, and I'm just going to re-roll in the defensive chart. All right, or just say that it's the ground out or whatever. I don't know. I'll think of something to do. All right, I'll just count it as no error and just say the fielder made the play. All right, so Ernie Witt steps to the plate. 210, and that is a straight up home run. As Mr. Goodman would say, clean as a baby's ass. Right here, home run in big bold letters. No D20 needed. Straight out long ball for Ernie Witt. 5-0 Blue Jays. Ernie Witt, let's check his numbers and see. For Ernie Witt, that is home run number 5, RBI number 17 on the replay. And the Jays take a 5-0 lead. And now Dennis Lamp is back to loosing in the bullpen. He may be called on early and often. And the good thing for the A's is Dennis Lamp has a relief rating of 3, so he can eat some innings. And this is the kind of game you got to eat innings and save your bullpen. Because against Jimmy Key, quite honestly, this game is probably already over. All right, here's Sharperson. 5-8. That's ground ball shortstop X. That is going to be Griffin. He's a 2E29. 2-17, he'll get to it. We're checking the E29. 13 on the E29. There's an 11, but no 13, so good play by Griffin. And there's 2 away. I agree, Dan. I don't have a problem with the frequency of rare plays. I think they come up rare enough on that 5. That seems to produce, come up the frequency, which I like it. I just don't like the way they're done because most of them aren't rare. But yeah, I think other games, maybe sometimes rare plays come up too often. And that's a bad thing too. We don't want that happening either. All right, here's Tony Fernandez. 6'9", switch hitter batting left. And again, that 6 column on Haas versus lefties is not a good one. It's a single for Tony Fernandez. And now we're looking at Mullenix. Fernandez, though, and lead chance to grab the lead of a 6 or a 7. He does not get the lead he will hold. Here's Mullenix. And this is probably the last inning for Haas. 3-6 for Mullenix might be the last batter for Haas. 1-8's a home run. That's a 5. It's gone. Rance Mullenix. Look at it again on the replay. 3-6 against the righty. Home runs are 1-8. That's a 5. So for Rance Mullenix, a 2-run home run. And on the season for Mullenix, that is home run number 2, RBI 14 and 15. And that puts the proverbial nail in the coffin of Mr. Haas. His day is done. 2 home runs in the inning, 3 runs in the inning. It's 7-0 Toronto. And we will get a new pitcher, Dennis Lamp. And we will close the book, thank goodness, on Moose Haas. So let's go to the Strat computer. Oh, let me do this first. Somehow Sharperson got messed up and got put on base on the computer. So good thing for the undo button. Without the Strat-O-Matic undo button on the computer, I would be in bad shape. I'd really have to mess things up and redo things. All right, so Sharperson grounded to short. I don't know why I had him on base. That was kind of weird. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Why is it giving me 2 outs? All right, hold the phone, folks. I may have to just score this game on the computer later. I'm going to score this game on the computer later and figure it out later, so I'm not going to worry about it. We're just going to do everything by hand from here on out. All right, so we close the book on Haas. He went 3 2/3. And he gave up how many hits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits in 3 2/3 innings. 7 runs. They were all earned. He walked. Well, the good news is he didn't walk anybody. How about that? His control was too good. He only had 1 strikeout. So now Lamp, he's a +4 hole, but with the score 7-0, I don't really think they're going to be looking to run anyway. I would think that Jimmy Williams would call off the Dogs with the score being what it is. So here's Lloyd Mosby. 4-6 against Lamp, and that's a single. So hit parade continues for the Jays, but they're not going to. They'll hold Mosby on just to be, realistic, but Mosby's not going to go anywhere. Not up 7-0. Here's George Bell. 5-7, and that's a ground ball, second base X. So Gallego, because they were holding the runner, he's now a 4. Whoop, the white die didn't go through, so let's redo that. He is a 4. 4 16, though, he'll get to that. 4 16 is a G2, which is good enough for the 3rd out. As long as there's no error, that's a 13. And he's an E32 as a second baseman. E32, there is no 13, so Gallego does make the play to end the inning. But 3 more runs come across. And at the end of 3.5, it's Toronto 7, Oakland nothing. And Oakland has Jimmy Key staring them in the face. So not a good sign if you are the Oakland A's. It's a piece of tape. I'm trying to tape this thing down because I've got it on top of the regular score pad stack to give me a little cushion here. So I'm trying to tape this so it doesn't flop all over the place, but I'm failing miserably. Hello, Cosmo. Good to see you. Because underneath is let me move this out of the way. I'm using the original Strat Form B as like a cushion, a padding, instead of having to write right on the table. But if I don't try to at least tape it down somehow, it's going to slide all over the place as I move these cards around and such. So that's the reason why I did that. Not very artistic looking, I know, but until I find a better alternative, if there is one. All right, here's Jimmy Key, 3-6 to, should be Lansford, not Griffin. Griffin made the last out. 3-6, and that's a home run, 1-16. That's a 5. Where is Jeremiah with the pick to click? There you go. He is the pick to click, even though it's not really helping any. He does get a home run off Jimmy Key, and that's saying something. 3-6 against the lefty. 1-16 is a home run. That's a 5. So Carney Lansford. Home run for Carney Lansford. How about that? Carney Lansford with the home run. And let's check out the numbers on Lansford as to what that's going to do for him. Lansford, that is home run number 5, RBI 24. Cuts the lead to 7-1. Unfortunately for Oakland, it was a solo home run. So it doesn't get him back in the game all that much, but at least it gets him off the schneid. Speaking of home runs, here's Jose Canseco. 6-6 from Key. 1-5 is a double. That's a 12. It'll be a single. So maybe the second time through the order, they're starting to figure Key out. Canseco will be held, but not down 7-1. They're not going to go anywhere. And, I forgot to cross off Lamp since he's in the game now. All right, so here's Mark McGuire. 6-4. And that's an in home run chance, 1-8. But that's an 11, so it's just a deep fly to left. Jimmy Key escaping a long ball on that one. And here's Ron Say. Ron Say, hey. Say, as Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson were done. 4-10. 4-10's a fly ball to center field, and that will be out number 2. for Mickey Tettleton. Catcher. Tettleton grounded. I'm sorry, it's not Tettleton. Sanchez. He's the computer guy. So let's roll him on the thing here. And if it comes with the batter, I'll read it off the computer screen. Let's see here. Let's get Sanchez on the computer screen here and get his card up so I can see what it is. Sanchez. Okay. Yeah, he had 100% of his bats against lefties, but he does not have a hit on his card because he was 0 for 3. This is a 2-3, which is a ground ball plus injury. Interesting. It says ground ball A plus injury. I don't know where the ground ball goes because the computer card doesn't say it on here. It's hard for me to read that. It doesn't give a position. So I'm just going to say he grounds to, we'll say he grounds to third just for the heck of it to end the inning. Doesn't really matter. That's going to do it for Jimmy Key, and the A's are done as well. Key does give up the home run, so they break up the shutout, but it's 7-1 in favor of Toronto. And Jesse Barfield will lead things off against Dennis Lamp. Again, Lamp has a 3 relief rating, so he can eat some innings, and that's what Oakland needs, is to eat the innings. 5-4, and that's an in-home run chance off a Lamp. 1-13. That's a 1. It's gone. Jesse Barfield, already the league leader in home runs, and he just added to that lead in home runs for Barfield. That now, let's get his numbers real quick. Where are you, Barfield? Hold on. I think that's home run number 13, but I'll verify it. Yep, home run number 13 and RBI number 37. So he now has taken the league lead in home runs with 13. As he just blasted that Dennis Lamp offering, it's now 8-1. The only reason I chose this game was because Jimmy Key. I probably should have realized that Oakland, even though they're a first place team, they had a substandard pitcher pitching. And this kind of game could get this way. 3-11 for Upshaw. That's a ballpark blast, but I think Oakland might save him 1-5. And it does. Good thing it's in a big ballpark. So Upshaw is gone. 1 away for Fred McGriff. 3-10 for McGriff. That's a ballpark blast. But once again, only a 5, and that's a 15. So Lamp is throwing meatballs in there, and the Blue Jays are just barely missing them, getting under it too much, and just taking them to the warning track. Here's Witt. He's homered in the game. 5-3. This is a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Sanchez, who's a 4.25. That's not a good thing. 4-1. That's going to be a double. 4-1 for an outfielder is actually it's going to be a triple. I take it back. Don't usually get that result, but an outfielder of 4-1 is actually a triple. So if we got an error, the run's going to score. That's a 10, and he's an E25. E25, there is no 10, but it will be a triple for Ernie Witt. He did have 1 triple on the season. Let me see if he's already gotten that triple. If not, I'll reduce it to a double. That's what the Strat computer does, is kind of keeps guys from getting way out of hand on that stuff. Yeah, he's already had a triple, so I'm going to knock this down to a, you know what? I'm going to keep a triple. I don't care. I'm going to keep a triple. For one reason and one reason only, I have never had a cycle, and I've got a single home run and a triple right here, and he legitimately got a triple off that fielding chart. You see it right here. A 4-1 is legitimately a triple, so I'm not going to take away his legitimate triple. I'm going to keep him with the triple. So if he can somehow sneak out a double, I have my first ever cycle in Cards and Dice. And I don't believe it would be tainted because that was the original result. I just didn't adjust it. I kept it the way it was. So here's Sharperson, 2 down, runner at third. 3-8, and that's a walk. So the inning continues. Back to Tony Fernandez. Fernandez has singled and doubled. Scored a run. 1-9, and that's another single for Fernandez. That'll score Witt. Another run is in. 2 runs are in. It's now 9-1 on the single by Fernandez. He's 3 for 4. And since it's 9-1, they're not going to steal. In fact, they're not even going to hold him on. They're just going to play it. 4-2, and that's a ground ball back to Lamp to end the inning. But 2 runs come in for the Blue Jays, and they are laying waste to the first place Oakland A's 9-1. And they will tie Milwaukee for first place in the AL East when this game is over. They'll be tied. Milwaukee will still be percentage points ahead because of the better percentage, but in the games back category, they will be even. Yeah, Canadian have had a lot of close calls, but this might be my better call because I don't need the triple anymore. I need the double. Doubles are a whole lot. I mean, triples are hard to get. If you can get a triple, that's when I start going on cycle alert when I get a triple because they're so hard to get. 4-4, Telton switch hitter batting right is a fly ball center field X. Mosby's a 1, so we know he's going to get to it. We're just checking the E7 for center fielder. E7 and a 13. E7, there's a 15 and 17, but no 13. So Mosby makes the play. And you can see how nasty looking this score sheet is up here and how clean looking it is down here. Even my chicken scratch, you can read it. So here's Javier. 3-5 against the lefty. He's going to fly to center as well. 2 down for Mike Let Go Gallego. 3-7 against the lefty is a solid double to center field for Gallego. So a 2-out double for Gallego, and that brings up Alfredo Griffin. By rule, it's a clutch situation, but is it really clutch when you're down 9-1? That's the question. Thought about homebrewing to remove the clutch. 4-10, switch hitter batting right-handed, fly ball to center, doesn't matter anyway, as he is out of there. So 5 innings in the books. It is a 9-1 whitewashing as Toronto is laying waste to Oakland, and the Oakland A fans are not very happy about it. Lamp, he is we'll call him the sacrificial lamp in this game because he is going to have to sit there and take it. Say La Russa is leading the Lamp to slaughter. Here's Mosby. Mosby, a 6'10 left-handed. Ground ball third base X. That is Lansford. He's a 3E8. 3 and a 10. He'll get to it. E8 and a 14 for a third baseman. Third baseman, E8. There's a 15, 16, 17, and 18, but no 14. So Lansford caught a break. And there's one away for George Bell. 4-6. That's a solid single to right field. And the hits just keep coming. Again, with the score being what it is, they're not going to hold anybody on, and they're not going to try for any leads. They're going to play it straight up. Here's Barfield, 6-6. More trouble. 1-6 is a double. 7-20 is a single. That's a single. 2 stars. And now Barfield is a triple away from the cycle. But that triple is harder to get. He doubled here, homered here, and singled here. But the triple is the one that's going to be the hardest to get, obviously. Barfield hit 3 triples real world, but that's a big ask to try to get that. Here's Upshaw, infield back for the double play. 2-6, ground ball first base B, so the run's going to score. They're able to get the force play, but not the double play. So the run will score. It's now 10-1. I figured 9-1. What's the use of playing the infield in? You want to get outs. Game's pretty much over already, so what's the point? Just trying to get as many outs as possible. Here's McGriff, 2-10. That's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1-3, though, and that's going to be a line out to second base to end the inning. But it is 10-1 in favor of Toronto. And I think it's a pretty safe bet. You can go to Vegas and bet it all you want, but I think it's a pretty safe bet Jimmy Key is going to get his 8th win. He'll be facing Lansford, Canseco, and McGuire. Lansford homer is the only Oakland run of the game. Yes, Cosmo, I tried to get team colors if I could. even though they're yellow and black, not yellow and green. That's the only yellow I had. So that's why I went with that. 210 for Lansford. He's hit by the pitch. Now I wonder, I'm not reading anything into this, but he homered his last time up, and this time he gets plunked on his next at bat. You wonder if that's maybe has a little intent behind it. Maybe Jimmy Key was a little upset about giving up the home run. Carney Lansford, the good guy that he is, just shakes it off and says no problem. I think it was a Jimmy Key curveball. It wasn't like Jimmy Key doesn't throw gas, so it probably didn't even feel it. Here's Canseco. Oh, it's a 2, so we got a chance to balk our pass ball. Looking at a pass ball chance for Ernie Witt, he is a 3 pass ball rating. And that's 16, no problem. The pitch to Canseco, 1-8, and that's a big strikeout for Canseco. Jimmy Key, not much of a strikeout pitcher. It's only his 4th. That's why he's not winning the Triple Crown, because he's not going to win strikeouts. But he's got a very good chance to win the ERA and the wins for the league. But the strikeouts probably belong to somebody that's more of a flamethrower like Roger Clemens. Here's the pitch to McGuire, 4-11. That's a fly ball right field X. Barfield is a 1. With a run on base, we're still going to roll the D20 because the runner could move up, depending on what the roll is. That's a 114, so the runner's not going to move up. That's a 10. Barfield's a 3. That's not even close to being an error. 2 down. For the Penguin, Ron Say. $1-7 for Say, and he strikes out. Strikeout number 5 for Jimmy Key. 6 solid innings. The only blemish was the Lansford homer. We go to the 7th. And let's see. Lamp. They're going to go ahead and pull Lamp. They're going to turn out the Lamp and go to another pitcher out of the bullpen. And they will go to Gene Full Nelson. He's also got a 3 relief rating, so he can finish the game out. And that way they don't have to use Eckersley or Howell or their lefty leaper. You don't want to overuse your only lefty in the bullpen. You got to save him for more important games. So Nelson is on. -3 hole, but like I said, I don't think the running's going to matter. So let's get the numbers on Lamp. He goes 2 1/3 innings. He's going to give up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. A total of 3 runs, all earned. And let's see, he walked 1, and he didn't strike out anybody. All right, so Nelson, to start the top of the 7th, will face Witt, Sharperson, and Fernandez. And Ernie Witt needs a double to get that elusive cycle. He had 24 doubles on the season. Looking at the card, to find a double, he's got a 2-8. He's got a 2-9. And is that it? 2-8 and 2-9, and then possible whatever doubles might come off the the outfield X charts on the pitcher. So we'll see if he can get that. See if he can get that double. He'll probably get one more bat after this, most likely. But 1-8, and that's a fly ball to center field. So he didn't get it here. He might have one more chance to get that cycle, possibly. Here's Sharperson. 2-8 for Sharperson. He draws the base on balls. So every time, as many Toronto batters as we can roll through to get through the order, it'll come back down to Witt again in the 9th. So here's Fernandez. And yes, I'm rooting for the cycle because I've never had one. 2-7 for Fernandez. That's a ground ball to second, and that'll be a double play. So that will certainly not help getting through the order very fast. So 4-6-3 double play. We're at the 7th inning stretch, and my coffee now has gotten down to room temperature. So I like using the 7th inning stretch to take me out to the ball game as an excuse to get my coffee. The non-carded player Sanchez is set to lead off the 7th, but we're in the 7th, so that means pinch hitting is now allowed. So we're going to bring up Tony Phillips. Tony Phillips will be the new pinch hitter. And let's see, does Canseco, let's see, what do we want to do with the outfield? We have to bring in, because Phillips is not rated for right field. You know, even though he's a lefty, I'm going to take that back. We're going to have Hot Dog Jackson. It's a 10-1 game. What the hell? Hot Dog Jackson's going to pinch hit and stay in the game to play right field. So he will lead off the 7th. He will take Sanchez's place. And Hot Dog Jackson will get even though Key's a lefty, I don't think it really matters that much with Key. The way he kind of pitches, I don't think it's an extreme like that. So we're going to have Reggie Jackson as a pinch hitter. But we are at the bottom of the 7th. And, of course, that means take me out to the ball game, and that means me heating up my coffee. So while I go heat my coffee, I'll let you guys enjoy. And I need to stretch anyway because I've been sitting here for a while. We'll let you guys enjoy. Take me out to the ball game. All right, we are back with some warmer coffee than what I had, and we are ready to continue here in the bottom of the 7th with Hot Dog Jackson. Hot Dog Jackson. And 220 average real world. Let's see what he's doing on the replay. See if he's up to 220 or a little bit less than that. On the replay, Reggie Jackson is hitting 185. He does have 7 homers and 17 runs driven in, but he's hitting a $185 on the replay. So let's see what Reggie can do here against Jimmy Key in a pinch hitting role. And he's pinch hitting for Sanchez and will take over right field. He's actually a better right fielder because he's only an E10 instead of an E25. See what Hot Dog can do. 6-7. He's going to get a single off of Jimmy Key. How about that? Hot Dog Jackson. Base hit. Base hit for the Hot Dog. Hey, Joel. Didn't see you in there. All right, so Mickey Tettleton, the switch hitting catcher. 3-7, and that's a walk. That's a rare walk issued by Jimmy Key. Runs at first and second. That's the first walk issued by Key. Key only walked 66 in 261 innings, so he's got really good control. 2-1, nobody out. First real threat on the base paths for the A's. They're still down 10-1, though, so that's going to be very difficult to come back. 5-7, switch hitter batting right-handed is a ground ball second base X. That's Sharperson, but he's a 4, so this can sneak through. 8, 4 and an 8. Nobody's being held on. 4 and an 8 is a G3, so he'll get to it, but his only play will be to first base. Now we're checking for an error. Sharperson is an E23, and that is a 10. There's an 11, but no 10, so it's good play. It's going to be a 4-3 ground out with the runners advancing to second and third. And, of course, with only one out, they're going to play the infield back. Jimmy Key's not too happy because it's going to mess up his ERA, but you're not going to play the infield in when you're up 10-1. I'm sorry. Here's Gallego. 1-4. Fly ball, right field B, question mark. But Reggie Jackson doesn't run all that well, and Barfield's got a -5 arm. So I don't think they want to test that. Jackson's a 10, -5 arm. We have a 10 plus the 2 is a 12, but the -5 arm is a 7. It'd be a 1-7 to score. So I don't think that would be a good idea at all. So they will hold. Bell, Barfield, one of those rare guys that gets a -5 arm. But he was known for having a good arm, obviously. All right, 2 outs, 2-1 for Alfredo Griffin. Jimmy Key trying to keep them off the board to keep his ERA low. Griffin is 0 for 3. 4-8, switch hitter batting right-handed. Lines it to second base. Sharperson snags it. And Key pitches around the first 2 base runners. Keeps that ERA low. That was his fatigue inning, but he's only given up 2 things, so he carries over a little bit more fatigue with him. And, of course, with a 10-1 game, they can certainly go to the bullpen if needed and save Jimmy Key some innings for future games. That might be an option as well. Yes, Jeremiah, your pick to click. Your pick to click. Dr. D, this is 1987, not 24. But your pick to click did hit a home run. So, yes, he did. All right, so Rance Mulliniks. 1-3, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-3, that's a 5. So he will line it to second base. And Gene Nelson just trying to eat innings and save the bullpen is all he's trying to do. Here's Lloyd Mosby. 6-11. Ground ball first base X. McGuire's a 3-12. 3 and a 5. That's probably going to sneak through. 3 and a 5. No, it does not. He's a G3 pound, but nobody's on base, so that's going to be good. 13 for the first baseman, and he is an E12. E12, there's no 13, so he will get to it and flip to Nelson covering for out number 2. And that brings up George Bell. One 6, and that's a 1-13 home run. 14-20 is a double. That's a 15. It'll be a double. And now, barring a double play in the 9th inning, Witt will hit, guaranteed. He'll get another shot. And this guy's got a shot too, just a triple to get the cycle. He had 3 triples on the season. And let's see what he's got on his card for triple against right-handers. Does he have a triple option? He's got, I don't see any triples on his card. He would have to do it off an outfield X chance. That's the only way he could do it, is an outfield X chance. He'd have to get an outfield X chance to get a triple, because I don't see, the only triples I see are over here on the left-hand side. So nothing on the right-hand side, so it would be a minor miracle to get a triple here. He'd have to do it off a outfield X chance. Maybe it's a right field to Reggie and he can't get to it. 6-10. That's a catcher X, not an outfield X. 6-10 is a catcher X. That's Tettleton. He's a 3-7. 3 and a 2. Boy, that's just terrible on the D20. Double die strikes again. 3-2 is a W/G, so it looks like a wild pitch to me. 8, and he's an E7. There's no 8, but a W/G is a wild pitch. So Nelson uncorks one. So Barfield gets another chance to maybe get an X chance on the pitcher card of Nelson. 4-4. Oh, it's a ground ball third base X instead. So Lansford a 3-8. Should take care of that. 3 and a 16 does. It's a rare. Oh, we were speaking of rare plays and we just got one. Let's see how rare this, let's see how not so rare this rare play is. 3 and a 16 is a G1. So we know G1 rare plays are where it bounces off the mound and goes to the fielder. Some ridiculous crap like that. Well, this is different. Is if there's a runner on first, the batter hits a ground ball by the fielder who starts a double play. There's nobody. There's a guy on third, not on first. With no run on first, the batter just grounds out. So there's nothing going on there. Just a ground ball to third. and that's going to end the inning. So Barfield's aspiration of a cycle goes by the wayside. Ernie Witt, though, will bat second next inning, so he's going to have the chance. Jimmy Key will be facing Lansford, Canseco, and McGuire. But in the bullpen for Toronto, they have their mop-up guy, Jose Nunez. He is their mop-up guy. 5-2 with a 5.01 ERA. He is loosely in the bullpen. But Jimmy Key gave up a single and a walk, so he's still got a little bit of endurance left. Here is Lansford. Interesting confrontation. He struck out Lansford in the first time at bat. Lansford paid him back with a home run in the second at bat. Key got revenge by hitting him in the third at bat. So there's no telling what's going to happen on the fourth at bat. 6-8. It's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. So Jimmy Key gets the strikeout. Strikeout number 6 for Jimmy Key. Jimmy Key at 6-8 is a strikeout with a dot, but he has not reached fatigue all the way yet. So here's Canseco. 4-6 against Canseco. It's a fly to center. That's 2 away. And that'll bring up Mark McGuire. 2-3, and that's a hit by pitch. So he's hit the second batter. It's the second time they've hit the Oakland A's. This time they hit Mark McGuire. A's aren't too happy about that. Say is your scheduled hitter. He will not hit. They will bring in a new batter. They're going to bring in Luis Polonia to pinch hit and stay in as the DH. So Polonia will be coming on to hit for Mr. Say. And I think they're going to cap Jimmy Key at the 8-inning mark and let Nunez finish it out in the 9th. 3-6 for Polonia. Struck him out. I'm sorry, 3-6 is this way to lefty, fly ball to right field. So no strikeout, but it is an out. And they'll cap Jimmy Key at 8 innings. So Jimmy Key is going to go 8 innings, give up the 1 run, which was just the homer. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just 5 hits. Of course, he hit 2 batters. He walked 1 and hit 2 batters, striking out 6. So Nunez will wrap up in the 9th for Toronto. Polonia will stay in the game as the DH. So that means Hot Dog Jackson will lead off the 9th for Oakland. That'll be something to watch, won't it? All right, so Jimmy Key, fine outing. Nelson back out for his 3rd inning of work. This is his fatigue inning, but he just wants to get out of this thing and save the bullpen. So now the only mystery left now is, can Ernie Witt get a double? He's got one more chance to get a double. He bats right after Upshaw. Can he get this double? First things first, Upshaw, 5-5. And that's a 1-14 triple, 15-20 is a double. That's an 11. It'll be a triple for Willie Upshaw, a leadoff triple for Willie Upshaw. And now that's going to bring up a McGriff. Oh, Witt hits after McGriff. I got one batter ahead of myself there. So that's one way that Witt could get a double, is get it off this card like he just got, like Upshaw almost got that double. So that's certainly one way to do it. Infield will play in for the heck of it for the A's. Here's McGriff, 5-7. Ground ball shortstop X. Griffin a 2E29. 215 is a G1, so the runner's going to have to hold. But that's a rare play again. Rare play again. And no runner on first, so it's just going to be a ground out with the runners holding. So 6-3 ground out, 1 away. And now Ernie Witt has a chance. He needs that double to get the cycle again on his card against right-handed pitching. Where do we find doubles? Do we even find any doubles? I don't see any doubles on his card. That's kind of weird that he has no doubles on his card. He had 24 doubles real world, so why does he not have a double on his card against right-handers? Oh, right here. 2-8 and 2-9 are the 2 chances for doubles, plus whatever he can get off the pitcher card. That's the other place. So Ernie Witt going for that double. Runner on third, 1 out. Ernie Witt going for that double if he can get it. 6-6 left-handed. He's got a chance, 1-5, but the devil die comes up as an 11, and it's only going to be a single. So usually the devil die comes up low all the time, and it picked this time to come up with a high number. So he does not get the double. He gets the single. There's an RBI single for Ernie Witt. He goes 4 for 5, 2 singles, a home run, and a triple. And the Blue Jays now lead at 11-1. But he really, really wanted that cycle and just couldn't get it. D20 let him down. All right. So much for that. Nelson, one base runner away from being fatigued. 3-8 for Sharperson is a walk, and now he will be fatigued, but they're going to try to get him out. They don't want to use another pitcher. They really don't. So this is Nelson to try to get out of this thing. 1 out, runner at first and second for Tony Fernandez. 5-6 with Chitterbang left, and that's that same roll we had before. And this time it comes up with the 4. Why couldn't it have done that for Ernie Witt? That's what Ernie's saying. That's a double. That'll be an RBI double. Scoring Witt. Sharperson will take third. And that's going to be it for Gene Nelson. He is done. Nelson is done. And of course, the A's are pretty much done too, but, you know, we got to finish the game here. Coming in to pitch for the Oakland A's will be Terry Steinbach, the backup catcher. We're going to the position player pitching card to try to get through the rest of this game and save their bullpen. So Terry Steinbach will be the pitcher for the A's. And he's going to be facing Rance Mulliniks. So Mulliniks is your batter. Runners at second and third and 1 out. Infield is in. 1-7. Struck him out. How about that? Terry Steinbach strikes out Rance Mulliniks. That's interesting. Here's Mosby. 2 outs now. Runners at second and third. .110, and that's a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So Steinbach saves a bullpen arm from having to get out there. He goes 2/3 of an inning and gets a strikeout. 2 more runs for the Jays, and they take an 11-1 lead, actually a 12-1 lead into the 9th inning, 12-1. And Jose Nunez will come on to pitch and mop up here in the 9th. So Reggie Jackson, Hot Dog Jackson, will get his second at bat since coming in for Sanchez. He did get a single off Key his first time up. That's a leaner, so I'm going to re-roll that. 3-5 for Reggie against a right-hander is a strikeout. So Reggie out on strikes for Tettleton. 6-8, Tettleton switched to bang left. 6-8 is a single. Single to center field by Tettleton. And that'll bring up Javier. Coffee out of the way. Javier will do the hitting. That's a 5-5, switch to bang left, and that's a walk. So first and second, 1 out for Mike Gallego. 4-5 to the right-hander, struck him out. Last chance for the A's is Alfredo Griffin, former Blue Jay. .110 against the righty is a single to center field. Let's see if Tettleton only runs at a 10. Mosby's a 0 arm. He was not being held, makes him 11. There are 2 outs, makes him a 13. What the hey? Go ahead and send him 1 to 13. Why not? And he's in there. Going to third is Javier on the throw. And Griffin will take second on the throw. So it is now 12 to 2. And Carney Lansford gets another at bat, but not against Jimmy Key. So he can't get any revenge on Key. But he'll see what he can do here. It's 12 to 2. Nunez trying to get that third out and get this game over with. 4-6, and he does. He strikes out the side, but in between gives up 2 singles, a walk, and a run. But that's going to do it from Oakland as the Blue Jays whitewash the A's by the score of 12 to 2. I didn't do the numbers on Nelson. They weren't that pretty either. Let's see. Nelson started here in the 7th. 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits for Nelson. 2 runs charged to Nelson. He walked 2, struck out 1, and he ended up going 2 1/3. No, that can't be right. 1, 2. Yeah, 2 1/3. Okay. All right, so for the Blue Jays, 12 runs, and they pounded out 20 hits in the ball game. 10 off Haas, 6 off Lamp, and 4 off Nelson. So 20 hits they produced. I don't think there was an error in the game for either side. The A's get 7 hits. So Toronto improves to 21-11. And looking at the standings, we can update the standings after this game. They are now 23-11. Why do I have 20-11 there? They were 22-11. They are now 23-11, and they are even with the Milwaukee, who's 22-10. So they are dead heat for first place in the American League East. Oakland with a loss drops to 20-15. Their lead to Chicago is only a game and a half, and it's even in the loss column. So Oakland's starting to fade back a little bit after this drubbing from the Blue Jays. So there you have it. It was not a pretty game at all. But Jimmy Key improves to 8-0. And poor Moose Haas drops to 0-3. And offensive stars of the game, there were 2 of them, Barfield and Witt. Witt 4 for 5, just missing the cycle by a double. And Barfield, not Barfield, who was I thinking of? Yeah, it was Barfield. He was 3 for 5, a single, a double, and a home run, of course, missing the cycle by a triple. But he did his league-leading 13th home run. So between those 2 guys and Jimmy Key pitching 8 solid, Blue Jays going to show they're tough, and Milwaukee and the Yankees better be ready for them because it's going to be a dogfight all season long in this American League East. And don't forget about the Tigers. They actually won the East. So they have certainly time for Sparky to get them straight and get them back in business. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. Unfortunately, it was not a close game. Can't always get close games. If you want a close game, go watch last night's Demolition League game between Kansas City and San Diego. That was a nice, tight, well-played ball game, even for the 24 season. Not as many strikeouts and walks as it had been, so it was actually an enjoyable game. So if you want to watch something a little closer, you can go back and check that out. I'm going to go ahead and enter all this in the computer and get that up to speed, and then play the rest of the games from May 16th offline. So we can come back for May 17th. Now, the question is, I got to pick out a game for May 17th. That's the thing, is I got to pick out a game for May 17th. So let me look at the schedule here, and maybe you guys can give me some of your options on who you might want to see on May the 17th. I'll give you the rundown of who's going to be playing that day. May 17th in 1987 was a Sunday, so it's a Sunday afternoon game. Your first choice is Baltimore at California, Flanagan against Willie Frazier. That's Second choice is Boston at Minnesota.
Jeff Sellers against Frank Viola. Third choice is Cleveland at Detroit, and that is Steve Carlton and Walt Terrell for the Tigers. Not going to do Milwaukee and KC because we just did that. Next choice is the Yankees in Seattle. Joe Niekro against Mike Moore. Let's see here. Not going to do Toronto and Oakland because we just did that. Charlie Huff and the Texas Rangers against Bill Long and the White Sox. I'm thinking Yankees and Mariners, but I don't know. Boston and Minnesota also has some charm with Frank Viola there. So might do Boston or if I feel up to it, maybe I'll do a doubleheader. Maybe I'll do a doubleheader where we have, the first game, Boston and Minnesota in the Central Time Zone, and then go out west and do the Yankees in Seattle at night. Maybe a day-night doubleheader kind of thing. Could be a possibility there for sure. I might do that. Maybe I'll start doing 2 games a day instead of the whole schedule. 1 game a day seems kind of incomplete to me, so maybe I'll compromise and stream 2 games a day. Maybe that Yankee-Seattle game is a candidate for the radio version since it's a late night game. I don't know. But I kind of want to keep the 87 normal and use that experimental thing on something that's not a project, that maybe something just a one-off. So I'm thinking California Angels hosting somebody in 1976, some East Coast team, or somewhat on the East Coast. I don't know. But anyway, that's going to do it from here. Toronto crushes Oakland by the score of 12-2. They pound out 20 hits. And Jimmy Key improves to 8-0 on the replay. So, until next time, and tonight, if you're so into it, roughly around 9 to 9:15, tonight will be the last game of the first day of the Demolition League. And it'll be for 2024 season. It'll be the Miami Marlins at the Minnesota Twins from Target Field. And that'll complete day 1 of the Demolition League. So that's going to do it from here. I need to get a few things done. I might do some experimenting on how to do this radio thing, and I might do some more experimenting with my PDF editor and see what I can fudge up for that. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.